All right, Mike from Metro Trails back with some more history for you, and we're here at the Manunka tunnels on the old main line of the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad. All right, this has been a spot that I've been here hundreds, if not 1,000 times. Been here since I was probably 8 years old. That's right, Ev. And Ev's been coming up here with me since he was about 40 days old. Anyway, very historic site, and people have been asking me to do something on this for a while. I haven't really done it lately because I felt like I kind of just milked this like crazy, and I've been here so many times. The first hike for the hiking group that became Metro Trails passed through here back when I was in high school. So, great history. The tunnel to the right is the older one. And this is the newer one, which was the most recently one used. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Built by the Warren Railroad, John I. Blair. 1856 was the year of the first bore. And Blair had connected with the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Main Line in the Delaware Water Gap. And so the Warren Railroad became the main line of the Lackawanna. And it was the main line up until the New Jersey cutoff was completed in 1911. So, first tunnel was here. It was single track, and this was a station site. The second tunnel was bored, I believe, in 1867. Now, right between that time, and I could be off a little bit, I think 1864, the Belvedere Delaware Railroad came in here. It's okay, Ev. I'll show you some of this grade here. The Beldel originated down in Trenton and made its way up here. It reached Belvedere by about 1855 and then was extended over here. That's this right of way. First it came alongside of the Lackawanna. It was a standard gauge railroad. By the 1870s, it was operated by the Pennsylvania Railroad. But at the time, the Lackawanna was a broad gauge. And they didn't connect officially until Lackawanna switched to a standard gauge. I forget exactly the year. I think 1869. So this was a major junction site, and it was a major station site. And there were a lot of different incarnations of the station, which it usually had a station platform right between the two tunnel portals, east and westbound traffic. At sometimes, there was a large platform with a cover on it right over the middle here, and at other times, it was uncovered. We see some images with the building in between, sometimes with the station building right over here, just behind a little Ev and the stroller here. So, this was one of the reasons they kind of needed the cutoff, because there's this and the tunnel in Oxford were both major problems. As you can see, a lot of water traveling through it. They had a major flume system to carry the stream, which is known as Catherine's Run, away from the tunnels. This area is state parkland, but the land surrounding it on the other side is called Beaver Brook Wildlife Management Area. That was an error naming it that. The stream here is actually known as Catherine's Run. It is a tributary to the Beaver Brook, which flows down through Bridgeville quite a bit to the east, and there isn't very much state wildlife management area land surrounding the Beaver Brook. So when it was named, they were looking more at this stream, and the USGS maps don't show it. You'll find the name of the brook on the Beers Atlas from 1874, Warren County. So the first major thing to happen after the main line shifted was there was a huge flood in 1913. Washed out a lot of the railroad yard through this area. So Beldel connected right over here. There would have been a connecting track. But it got really tight in here after that. And there's a lot of historic photos taken from the time that show the old tower over here hanging over the edge. And if we were to go over here, you can kind of see some of what happened. Some of the cut was never filled back in. There's a house down in there. Mike's Tykes is the place. And that was the old tunnel keeper's house, by the way. And then again in 1955, an even worse flood. And the Beldel here washed out so badly that the section from Belvedere north was entirely abandoned. It was the first section of the Belvedere line to be taken out of service. I'm not sure if we can see it this time of year, but there are still rails down here from when that washout occurred. Down in the wintertime, you can see them. And over here, you can see there's still some suspended railroad ties. For my entire life, they've still been suspended, but eventually they'll fall because more of those roots are showing all the time. So, this is your junction site. Having fun, Ev? Ev is loving trains and tunnels already. So around 1940, the original bore was taken out of service, which is here. And it's in pretty bad shape. The entire thing is full of collapses all the way through. It is still passable, yes, but not advisable. More of it collapses all the time. When my little brother Alex was up here when we were little, he was probably 5 or 6, he climbed around in here, and the top rock in there fell out, hit his head, cracked his head open. So it's not to be messed with. It really needs to be stabilized. This tunnel did make the list of top 20 most endangered sites in the state of New Jersey several years ago, but that list changes every year also. So this is the one that was most recently active. I'll do another one of these things one time when Ev isn't with me. But you can see this wall is bowing out a bit here. If I step back, you'll probably see it a little more. See that arc in the side of it? Right there? If that isn't stabilized, this tunnel will be lost also. It's got a major collapse in there that happened, I believe, during Agnes in 1972. And beyond that first collapse and before the second collapse, the rails are still in place in here. Didn't get a chance to remove them before it was taken out. Once again, I'm not going to do that right now because I'm trying to set an example for my son and keep him safe. So, the line here remained in service until 1970. And then it was let go. So it was really popular with ATV riders ever since. You used to be able to get right through them with no problem through the 80s and part of the 90s, but by the time I started organizing the hikes, it was already really rough to get through. So, and you got all these trees on top of it. The root systems are undermining the structural integrity of the stone facade. Even though we're kind of more north, this is referred to as the west portal because it was westbound on the railroad. The east portal is all natural stone facing, and it's a little harder to get to. Again, I'll do that when I have a little more time, and maybe without Ev with me. The first hike that we did, we actually walked through the tunnel. I've done them both various times in the past, but I'm going to be a little more responsible today. And I would love to see this preserved. What's the answer? I recommend you look up what's called the Poe Mountain Tunnel in Poe-Patty State Park, Pennsylvania. They basically built a tunnel inside the tunnel that provided for a safe walkway. It's around the same length, the tunnel. This tunnel is just under 1,000 feet long. And it could be used for passage if this were ever turned into an official rail trail. It is state parkland from this location all the way to the edge of the sand quarries over in Bridgeville. Then it becomes state land again through Peak West Wildlife Management Area, and then state parkland again near the Washington Township border down towards the high school and to where it becomes an active spur again. A few pieces are also state parkland and state wildlife management land from Washington down to Hampton. There's some missing parts, but this has the potential of being one of the most popular rail trails in the country. It just takes a lot of money and some more people to care besides just me. Look over this way, you can still see there's right around that curve is where there was the replacement tower on the right, and there's some major washouts over here that are getting worse over time, where this branch of Catherine's Run is coming through and really starting to undermine the edge of the right-of-way. Just over here, it's starting to collapse down towards 46, a little bit ahead. We're on the border of White Township and Knowlton Township right here. Now, if you want to visit this site, I recommend you walk in. It's a pretty long walk to get to this side. I'd recommend parking all the way down by the old A&P outside of Belvedere. It's a couple-mile walk, but if you park anywhere else, you're just asking for trouble. There's a few other businesses out along here, but very limited parking. Too many people have been trying to visit the site by parking really close to it, and you're just asking for problems that way. You ruin it for everybody because the landowners get upset. Plus, the people that end up trying to get in from close by are the idiots that are leaving crap like this laying around. You know, this is the kind of stuff that ruins it for everybody. I'd grab it up right now, but I don't have a bag on me. So look out for these sites, please. And maybe somebody will be watching that might know about some grants that we can come in and hopefully see this place preserved. If it ends up being like the Poe Mountain Tunnel, it would be fantastic, because that can be walked right through, and it's part of the Pennsylvania Mid-State Trail. One of the great highlights of that. Got a lot of potential here. So, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time.